On the Cowbridge Kitchen, we're going to be making leek and potato soup. Let me show you how. Okay, so for this soup, basically all we're going to need some leeks. We want about 600 grams of leeks, okay, and mostly only the white. So when we get up to the green section there, we'll discard that. We'll use mostly just this white and pale green section of the leeks, okay. And then we're going to want potatoes, well 3 potatoes or so, and we're going to want these diced up, peeled and diced, okay. So we'll get this veg prepped, and then we'll get over onto the stove where we've got a pan of water ready to go. So with our leeks, we're going to, like I said, we're going to cut the darker green right off, and we're not going to keep that. You can keep it to make a veg stock with at a later date if you like, but basically we're going to get rid of most of that, okay. And then what we're going to do, so we're going to cut the end off here, and all we're going to do is we go in to slice these leeks right the way up. There we are. Get them all the way sliced. There we are. That's probably green enough. So we'll get rid of that. We'll do the rest of these leeks, and like I said, we want about 600 grams of this. So there we are. We have about 600 grams there of leeks. Okay, so we can set them aside for use in a bit later. Okay, what we're going to do is get about 3 good sized potatoes now, peel these up, dice them, and set them aside. Okay, so there's our 1 potato. What we're going to do now is to cut this into, I don't know, about 1/2 inch, I suppose, slices. And then what we'll do with them is we'll quarter them up so they're roughly cubed. There we go. And there we are. Okay, so we've got our 600 grams of sliced leek and our 3 peeled and diced potatoes. Let's get over to the stove, and I'll show you what we need to do to get this soup cooking. Okay, so there we are. We have our leeks, 600 grams of leeks, and our 3 potatoes peeled and diced. All we need to do now, just to finish off, is we need 1 brown onion, peeled and finely diced. So we'll get that sorted out and we'll get over to the stove. I'll show you what to do. So over at the stove then, we've got ourselves a large saucepan, okay, quite a nice large saucepan. And what we're going to do is we're just going to throw all our ingredients in there, 150 mils of water, bring it to the boil and simmer it for about 10 minutes, okay. So we'll start off, we'll get our onions in first, and then our potatoes, and then finally our 600 grams of sliced leek. So onions straight into the pan. Potatoes straight into the pan, mix them up with the onions. All of our leeks. Already smells good, haven't even started cooking it. Okay, we'll get that mixed up. And what we'll do now is we'll pour on 150 mils of water. We'll put the heat on that and just cook that off for about 10 minutes. Once get it to boiling, and then obviously cook it off for about 10 minutes. Leave them there for a little bit longer. What we're going to do, we're going to get another pan, and we're going to warm up, or almost bring to the boil if you like, about 600 to 700 mils of water. So we can get that into the pan. Whack the heat on that and bring that to the boil. By the time that's brought to the boil, these should be done. So there we go. Okay, our potatoes now have been basically effectively steaming in this saucepan with 150 mils of water just to stop them burning on the bottom. Okay, so what we're going to do is take the lid off this now. Our other water in the pan is coming to the boil. We're going to add that water to this saucepan and leave it cook. So let's take the lid off, take a little look at our leeks and potatoes. Oh, there we go, and the smell is absolutely beautiful in there. That's lovely. Yeah, there we are. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to get our saucepan of water that we had in the boil, our 6 to 700 ml, okay? Pop that into them. Stir that in. Pop the lid back on it now. There we are. And we're going to let that simmer now for about 30 minutes, okay? Not boil, keep a little eye on it, stir it now and again. But basically 30 minutes until those potatoes are soft enough to eat. Okay, so as you can see, our potatoes and leeks and onions has been simmering away there for about half an hour or so, and the potatoes are nice and soft, leeks are nice and soft, so it's ready now to be turned into a soup. So what we're going to do, I'm going to use about half of it, and I'm going to put half of it, ladle it into a food processor, and we're going to turn that into a puree. You can put as much in as you like. It depends sort of how much leek and potato you want left in your soup, but I'll do about half of it and then we'll add it back in. Right, so there we are. So with a ladle, like I said, get about half of it into that food processor, or more than half if you like. Up to you really how much you put in there. I mean, you could, I suppose, technically puree the whole lot of it, but I want a few good lumps of potato and leek left in mine. So there we are. That's about half of that. It's never a tidy process. And what we'll do, pop our lid back on there, and we're going to process that for a few minutes until it turns into a puree. There we are. Get all of that back into there. Or get the rest of it out then with a spatula. Okay, so what we'll do is mix all of that back into our soup, get the heat back on it. And cook that up for about another 10 minutes or so. And then we can decant it and eat it when we like. Smells delicious.